hello, and welcome to I think we call this show Chewing Clock. I don't know what episode number we're on. I stopped keeping track. As you can see, Trevor is not. Well, I guess Trevor's here. Trevor's here.
I ate Trevor.
So we have Rob again filling in this week because Trevor couldn't be here, just
Both
like I couldn't be here last week.
Both my arms work.
Hey, both his arms work now.
They do? That's good.
Yeah, it took him a while.
I've never seen him without it. I've only known him for a few weeks. I've never seen him without a sling.
Yeah, he's pretty injury prone.
It's like that guy from Two Live Crew. Anyone? No? Everybody?
Yeah,
Too young?
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Too young.
Everybody say, hey, I'm not going to say the next line.
Right. There was a guy in the Two Live Crew that always had his arm in a sling.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a weird gimmick.
It was.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about tonight.
Usually we don't get too big on the Thursday night games.
No. To be fair, we started not getting big on the Thursday night games, and then things just seem to keep happening in Thursdays. And I'm starting to think this is all going to be part of a big script. There's no way these Thursday night games are this interesting. They're not.
Okay, you guys fight at the end of this game.
Yeah, exactly. The NFL is causing Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph to fight. But we're going to open this up with the coin toss, which is a new segment they debuted last week without me. How dare they? I told them to. And
Doing told.
there's two options in the coin toss. Essentially, heads or tails. Which would you rather have? So this week it's Stephon Gilmore or Jalen Ramsey. Cornerback number one. Who do you got?
Well, after breaking down the stats, my next gen stats.
Ooh, the next gen stat. Get the Pro Football Focus?
No, it was about 20 minutes ago downstairs on reference
Google.
football
You got them from
reference.com. If you're talking about this year's body of work, I mean, Ramsey missed a lot of time. Gilmore has been targeted 57 times, given up 30 completions, only about 5.5 yards per target, which is low. Nothing's getting over his head, which is what you want for somebody who's going to play cover two or even just one-on-one. 0 touchdowns, and he played 90% of the snaps, and that's because he played half of the game against the two teams that they beat, 43-0. He only played half the game. Ramsey has been targeted 43 times, given up 30 completions, added a clip of 8.3, and has given up a touchdown. You can't go wrong with either one of these guys.
No, the two are the top three in the league.
But if you got to say who's the best out of those two, it's got to be Gilmore.
Okay. I disagree.
Okay.
I definitely think Ramsey is better than Gilmore. Of course, you already said Ramsey has missed some time. And that was him, whether it's his fake injuries or his sister's daughter just died or some random crazy thing he may come up with next. But Ramsey has already faced a higher caliber of wide receiver one than Stephon Gilmore has this year. Whether it be with, now he's in LA, or whether when he was back with Jacksonville.
Okay.
So Jalen Ramsey is facing the harder competition to this point.
He has. Gilmore, if you look at his stats in his 8 years, they're pretty steady. And he's faced some good players all the time. But we are talking about this year's body of work.
Yep.
He can only guard who they throw out there. And until proven that he can't, match up, across the field from a receiver, top-notch receiver, I'm still going to go with Gilmore.
Oh, I don't think that'll ever happen. I don't think you're going to get there and see Stephon Gilmore can't match up with Amari Cooper. That's not going to happen. He's still, regardless of what our opinion is here, is a top 3 in the league. And I say 3 because you can argue Marcus Peters is up there too.
I mean, he did line up against Watkins, who would play a lot of zone.
Yep.
So
he had Watkins. I believe he was on Jarvis Landry when they versed Cleveland. That was a struggle.
Yep.
Why can't I remember who they just Ravens. Ravens don't really have a solid number one, and Lamar Jackson can't throw the ball to save his life. Hence why he has 100 rushing yards a game.
That might catch up to him a little bit.
I was going to.
Yeah.
I've been a firm, strong advocate for the fact that Lamar Jackson is not a real quarterback, and it's only a matter of time before he gets knocked out. But that's another conversation for another day.
In another segment, will he make your QBs or not QBs? Will he make
Not
it?
a chance. He is not in my top 5. He's also not in my bottom 5. Make that very clear right now.
All right. At least that's legit. You can't put him in the bottom 5.
No.
Have you?
No.
Folks,
At that point, it's just hate.
folks, have you seen the bottom 10 names on that list?
The quarterback play this year is atrocious. And hashtag QB Armageddon.
That's why Kaepernick's getting a workout.
It's reported 24 teams are going to be there now. They
Why
went
not?
up from 11 to 24 today. And I'm guaranteed this time next week he will be signed.
Why not?
As long as he's, not actually, dying.
Well, 3 years is tough.
Yep.
Out of the league, so
That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest hurdle that he has to
Yeah.
get over, is the fact that he has not been in the league for 3 years. And yeah, you can sit there and from behind a desk or on your computer screen, you can absolutely say, oh yeah, he can still play. He's better than these quarterbacks that are playing right now. No, he may not actually be. I love that
Check
camera.
cam.
So this is the now rant cam that is directly focused on me for when I go on a rant like I am right now.
As soon as he goes on a rant, some sort of tantrum.
I love it. Exactly.
It's
A
the
tantrum.
Jake take cam.
But yeah, so you can say all you want that he is better than whoever's starting for Denver these days. I think it's one of the Allens. But you can't definitively say that because he hasn't played in the league in 3 years.
We have no idea what he looks like.
We don't know if he's probably been working out if we're being realistic. But realistically, we cannot say we know for a fact.
Right.
We're not there with him. We haven't seen him on the field. We don't know what his arm looks like.
Even when he was on a team, he was at best a backup for a top 15 team, maybe a starter for a bottom 15 team.
I
And
agree.
That was when he left.
I agree.
So
100%.
We'll just see what happens now.
If he was on Denver right now, but 3 years ago. So the situation Denver's in right now, 3 years ago, he'd be starting for them.
Right.
Now, with the 3 years past, it's questionable.
Yeah.
Chicago, same thing.
I mean, you can't just, I don't know who's done it. Who's been out of football for 3, I mean.
At the quarterback position?
Any position. How can you do it?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody.
I mean, think of people who have been chronically hurt and come back, but it hasn't been 3 years. Even Luck, it wasn't 3 years. He played on and off.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if anybody's done that.
Luck missed a year and a half consecutively.
And that seemed like a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody could do that. But we'll see. They're so bad that it could happen.
I agree. All right, back on track, because that was just a side tangent of nothing we planned on talking about tonight. But not a bad idea to actually talk about it, because it is a football move that the NFL has set up.
Yeah.
Because apparently, from reports, teams have contacted the NFL about bringing him in, which is a weird situation in its own. But we're not going to get into that tonight. Or ever, because that's just, yeah. So Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph got into a heated debacle last night. I look tired. Like,
Maybe
really
what?
tired.
You have fight one up there? See, here's fight one. This is the best picture we could find that wasn't going to sue us.
Fact.
No one's going to take credit for this thing.
Nice
As you
and
can
blurry.
see- as you can plainly see in the blurry picture, Rudolph is the one who goes for the helmet first. I mean, whether you want to call it an instigate, did Garrett tackle him, fall on him, roll over, hold on him too long? Maybe, sure, fine. Happens every game.
I have a
happens
debate
every
about
play.
that, though. Have you watched the video?
Yeah.
So if you watch the actual tackle in full,
Hmm.
the biggest thing about it is that Myles Garrett starts and initiates the contact while Mason Rudolph still has the ball.
Yeah.
And Myles Garrett never looks up, never hears a whistle, and never stops. And that's what it really is. He's still trying to tackle Mason Rudolph.
Right.
So all in all, it's that part of it is all fair play.
Yeah. Did he lay on him a little too long? A little roll over with him? Wouldn't let him get up as fast? Happens every play.
Absolutely. You want the quarterback to know you're there.
Rudolph lost his mind and grabbed his helmet. I think Garrett, as the next picture shows, from this point on, Rudolph is brought to his feet solely by the muscles in his neck connected to his helmet, because Garrett just picks him up off the ground by his helmet and then pulls it off him. And as you can see in picture number 3,
you're not supposed to pay him back to me when I'm sharing this on Facebook.
and Garrett hits him with a Widowmaker, which is awesome. That's such a good picture. Show him again. He wasn't looking.
Yeah, we're back to
it. I love it.
Oh, yeah, look at that haymaker.
I love it.
That face.
That's dangerous. I mean, I'm sure he didn't mean to hit him with the foamy, soft part of the helmet. I'm sure he wanted to hit him hard and knock him senseless. He's gone for the rest of the year indefinitely, which means he could go in front of the NFL and try to get the suspension reduced. I don't know. He's got a track record. I think they may just say, you suck, your team sucks, you're an ass, goodbye until next year.
He's definitely gone until next year, but as I posted on the Game Changer Sports Network earlier today, should he be suspended into next season as well? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that is the first time I've ever seen that.
It's
a precedent-setting thing, so they got to really, whatever they do as far as discipline here is going to set the precedence. That's what a precedent-setting thing is.
Wow.
You like that? You're not gonna get that kind of stuff from Trevor.
No, that was really insightful, and I'm highly impressed.
You're not gonna get that. So they may now. Before, when I read that post, and I was reading your exchange with some of the posters, and I was like, nah. But now, thinking about it, being as serious of what that could have been, he could have, with the right part of the helmet, could have killed him.
Oh, my bad. All he had to do was flip that helmet over, and you're looking at a Mason Rudolph concussion.
Right. And so I think this is the first time they've had to do that, make an example out of him and probably give him extra 4, extra 6.
Into next year?
Yeah.
I absolutely thought an extra 4 into next year.
Yeah.
So the 6 this year, and I hate to break it to you Cleveland fans, but Cleveland's not making the playoffs. So now that we got that out of the way.
I mean, it's not like he deflated footballs.
Oh, man. Oh, how could you ever?
That is serious business.
Oh.
But he did hit him in the head with a helmet and almost kill him. So maybe we get 4
That
games.
might be a little bit more extreme. For that. One is literally almost killing somebody, and one is the integrity of the game. We're not baseball fans. No. We don't actually care about the integrity of the game.
Or to quote the report, may or may have not known or not known something about balls that may or may not have been deflated. But that's a different story. And I don't seem like I'm very mad about it anymore.
No, you don't seem bitter at all.
No, definitely not.
I would love that draft pick back, though.
Yeah.
Let's fail on another wide receiver.
Yeah, we'll see this week.
So, should Mason Rudolph have been suspended?
Suspended? Did he get kicked out? Was that the last play?
There was like 14 seconds to go. I don't recall if he was ejected.
I think, yeah, because you didn't have a chance to get thrown out of the game. I think he deserves 1 game. Because he grabbed the guy's face mask, too. He grabbed his face mask, and he was trying to grab it.
He 100% initiated that entire ordeal.
Yep.
After that, from point blank, before Myles Garrett does anything, Mason Rudolph initiated the entire ordeal.
The fight.
The fight. He initiated the fight.
Garrett would have got up, would have walked away, maybe said something. They were probably saying something to each other the whole time. But Garrett would have got up, walked away, been on with his business. Rudolph
Proceeded to try to rip
whole
Garrett's helmet
fight-
off.
started and ended because he grabbed Garrett's helmet first.
Now, I want to make this clear, is that we are not saying that Myles Garrett gets a pass for trying to kill the guy. That is by no means what we are saying. Myles Garrett still took it too far. There was no reason to grab his helmet. No, I understand why he grabbed his helmet, but there was no reason to swing it at him.
And picking the guy up from the ground by his helmet is almost as dangerous as hitting him with it.
Yeah.
Because you got to do all sorts of neck damage doing that. If you go back and watch it, if you haven't seen it, a couple times, Mason Rudolph was not getting up. He wasn't getting up, and Garrett had his face mask. Garrett picked him up off the ground by the face mask. 100% the muscles in Rudolph Mason's neck saved him from breaking his neck. So that was almost as dangerous as swinging the helmet.
That's just a haymaker. I love it.
How do you like that, Mason?
So,
How's that? You millennial?
Larry
One of those millennial names.
Ogunjobi also got suspended.
Was he the kicker? Oh no, that was Pouncey.
Yeah, that was Pouncey. Pouncey also got suspended.
So the Pouncey twins, boys.
Oh,
brothers,
man, they're a mess.
they were riding shotgun with Aaron Hernandez in Miami. Who knows how many bodies those guys got?
They are always in trouble with the NFL. So it's no surprise he was involved. He was, quote-unquote, protecting his quarterback.
Oh.
But Larry Ogunjobi decided to, while Mason Rudolph's back was turned, he decided to push Mason Rudolph onto the ground.
Yeah.
He received a game for that.
Good.
As he should have. There also should have. First off, they should just fire Freddie Kitchens. He has no control of that team.
We'll get to that.
Zero control. But
When your name is Kitchens,
yeah,
maybe football coach is not your calling.
should have been a plumber.
Should have been a food tester, chef, line cook.
Yeah, that's rough.
So not only do he pushes him to the ground, but he kind of runs away after too.
Yeah,
It's like,
it was.
oh, you pushed the quarterback who wasn't looking to the ground. Awesome, awesome. He was the toughest guy.
Oh,
What a clown.
the best, and a local radio station where we are said it perfectly today. It was the biggest puss move in this entire situation.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep. Gotta be a push move.
Yeah, why
Any-
wouldn't there?
anything.
There's always got to be one.
And this is never a good look.
No.
If you find yourself doing that, you also look like a puss.
I mean, if you find
Never
yourself
a good
doing,
look.
to be fair, if you find yourself doing that after somebody just decked you with a helmet, I'm just saying.
Still not a good look. Everybody saw it. You don't have to go like this. The whole
Like the refs would
world
have never
saw
saw it.
Yeah. You don't have to make it. What? You're just going to let him hit me in the head with the helmet? Calm down.
All
Mason.
right, so we're gonna segue. We'll use the Freddie Kitchens segue, I guess.
Oh.
Coach is on the hot seat as of right now. What are we? 10 weeks into the season?
So I guess I got 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want all 5 and a quick reason why?
Let's start with 2. Give me 2 of the most likely you have to be fired.
Most likely, Kitchens and Quinn.
Ooh, Dan Quinn down in Atlanta.
Yes. Too much talent to be that crappy. I think he's.
Okay.
It's just too much talent to be that crappy. I think he's probably should have got fired after they lost to the Patriots. But kind of hanging on, kind of seeing.
When you go to a Super Bowl, you don't fire a coach after the Super Bowl.
Well, the Red Sox do. If it's a different sport.
That's a whole different animal, my friend.
So Freddie Kitchens, obviously, he's got no business coaching anything.
There's no way he makes it past this season.
No.
Not a chance.
I think Dan Quinn is just worn out his welcome. When you get to the pinnacle and almost win the Super Bowl, You got to at least get the championship game again and then be there. It's been a steady downward fall since.
So, if you asked this question to me 2 weeks ago, I would sit here and tell you Mike Tomlin.
But he does. It's just not possible to fire this guy.
It's not possible because the man is like going through quarterbacks like it's saltwater taffy and just still winning games, still in the playoff hunt. And I hate Mike Tomlin, but he's going to keep that job. So,
yeah, he's
instead,
in the playoffs, right? As of right now, he's in the playoffs.
Instead, the clown, the biggest clown not named Freddie Kitchens in the NFL, Jason Garrett.
Got him.
Oh, man, how he's lasted this long is beyond me. Then they're going to franchise.
You know why.
Yeah, I mean.
He's a puppet.
Yeah, that's what Jerry Jones wants.
Reason why.
Jerry Jones has to have a puppet
Exactly.
as a head coach, which means he'll probably keep his job.
Right.
And that's the wrong move because you got Dak Prescott, you got Ezekiel Elliott, you got Amari Cooper. That should be a championship team already. What's wrong? It's the head coach.
NFC East, sorry, not that scary.
No.
Philly doesn't scare me. When they're not beating themselves, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know who their quarterback is. I'm not scared of Philly. Of course, they'll go out and beat the Patriots this week. But as far as if I was the NFC East, if I was the Cowboys and I looked at my roster from top to bottom, you shouldn't be afraid of Philly. You shouldn't be like, well, we're going to split with Philly. We'll win one here, we'll lose one there. They should go right through Philly.
Yep.
And the other two teams are a joke right now. I mean, the Redskins are always a joke, and the Giants are a joke right now. They should be pounding that conference like the Patriots pound the AFC.
Have you seen how bad the NFL is trying to sell Daniel Jones as the next star quarterback of the NFL?
Yeah, New York.
It's
is
sickening.
Trying. Yeah.
Like
Danny Dimes, is that what they call him?
he's not going to be that good.
No.
And they are trying to sell him as the next Tom Brady.
Yeah, they're like, oh, he's Danny Dimes, baby, Danny Dimes, and they got a first row ticket to watch Kaepernick play. That's how much they love Danny Dimes.
Yeah. The Giants fans will turn on him rather quickly.
It won't take long.
By this time next year.
So obviously Jason Garrett, I had him as one of my 5. And did you have obviously you had Kitchens?
Yep.
You didn't have Quinn. You didn't have a 5 list, but
No, I didn't. I don't think Quinn is fired after I know there's been a lot of talk about it. I think he gets one more year. And contrary,
I don't know how long he has his contract.
I know who you have right there. I see it.
Yeah.
Contrary to what the GM and the owner just came out and said, I still think Adam Gase gets fired after the end of this year. He's another team that's got way more talent than they're playing with.
And I guess he's not the whisperer everybody thought he was.
He never was.
No. And then I have my favorite guy to make fun of, Ron Rivera.
See, I don't.
I think
Anybody that's working with a backup quarterback and still has a winning record.
That's the thing. He's doing just enough to not get fired.
Yep. But he's been doing just enough to not get fired for the last 3 years.
Like Office Space. You like that movie? Yeah. Just do enough to not get fired.
Are you the voiceless wonder back there?
There we go.
Oh, sorry, my mic wasn't on.
How about that Office Space, Russ? You like the Office Space?
I do.
Yeah. Who doesn't? You have to like the Office Space. You never seen Office Space?
No.
These millennials.
Oh man.
Millennial.
You love this movie. A lot of smart asses right up your eye.
It probably is. But, like, I have a life. I work. I do stuff.
Yeah, well, you didn't have to watch it this week.
Oh. Well, I guess I don't have to watch it this week.
But you should.
The first thing he says all night. So, speaking of coaches, we got John Gruden over in Oakland doing some interesting things.
Yeah, I mean, I give him credit. Me and Trev talked about it last week, how I thought this was going to be the worst. I thought it was going to be one of the hard knock curses. I think that he was going to be horrible, that he wasn't going to get fired because he's John Gruden. They're not going to fire him.
He signed that 10-year deal. He'll be there for at least
he's
7.
Be there for a long-ass time. So I got to give it to him. He's holding the ship. He's got a above average. He's got an above 500 record. They're just on the outside looking in. You know, they got the same record as Pittsburgh. Same
How
record as
John
Indy.
Gruden?
Titans have one more loss, but they dealt with AB and they didn't implode, which is something to say.
Yep.
It is, and one of the things I wrote, not horrible.
Yeah. He went from trading his two best players,
Yep.
Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack,
Mhm.
and using those draft picks, he hit on all three. He hit him and Mike Mayock. And in case you don't know, Mike Mayock is quote unquote the draft guru. He's usually actually not. But as a GM, he's hit on all three. All three. I'm highly impressed with the way this team is turning around right now. And I don't expect them to compete this year. But you have those three first-round picks. I believe they have 2 coming up. You got 5 first-round picks. You hit on all 5. You're doing better than 90% of teams out there. What team can say we went 5 for 5 on first-round picks?
The 90s Cowboys.
They went like 10 for 10. But yeah,
Sorry.
it's
Herschel
extremely uncommon
Yeah.
for you in this day and age to go 5 for 5 on first-round picks, let alone 3 for 3.
Which you kind of shouldn't be that hard if they're first rounders.
I mean,
But it is.
I guess Cleveland went 3 for 3.
It is hard, but it shouldn't be. Because these are first rounders.
Yeah.
Now, if you take somebody you draft in the first round that everybody else has in third and fourth round, and it's a bust, that's on you. Yeah.
So
But-
everybody that the Patriots draft in the first round?
There's been some busts.
Sony Michel was at best a third rounder.
Yeah, I don't know why they needed him so early.
Isaiah Wynn was an actual first rounder. I'm proud of them. He's worked out.
When healthy, he can play a
Has
little
he
bit.
played a single actual regular season game yet? He tore his ACL going into the season,
That's right.
and he started this season on the yeah. He has not played a single actual snap. I'm looking that up
Yeah, I think
before.
you might be right.
I don't think he's actually played a single snap.
Worth every penny.
Oh, yeah. Thank God it's a rookie contract. Let's see. He played against Pittsburgh and against Miami.
First 2 games.
Yep. He played 70 snaps against Pittsburgh, and he played 12 snaps against Miami before he got hurt.
And I think the best I heard of his play was adequate.
Well, the entire team looked good against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but he was adequate.
We'll see. We'll see.
I think he was adequate. That they were saying against those 2 first teams, he was okay. I mean, which, for a first round pick, you want a little bit more than okay. They never really, they let Brady's left tackle go, and they really haven't.
I don't regret that decision at all.
But I
That has
mean-
worked out in the immense amounts.
But they
Nate
haven't
Soldier
done
is worse than anybody they've had. Nate Soldier, play-wise, Marshall Newhouse gets way more penalties. But play-wise, Marshall Newhouse has been better than Nate Soldier.
I don't know about that.
Minus
Newhouse-
those 33 and a half pass rushes
Well,
by
I mean,
Newhouse.
I think that letting Soldier go wasn't the worst idea, but they needed to make a better. They need to plug that hole better than they did.
Well, they were counting on Isaiah Wynn.
Right.
Then that didn't work out. Then
But
they traded for 3 offensive linemen, and 2 of them retired. Like, how bad is your system where you have guys retiring after being traded to you?
The story of Joe Panos. Joe Panos was a offensive guard, played years in the Giants, Buffalo Bills, played for the Patriots in 2001, retired right after preseason, retired. Didn't want to play anymore. Then the Patriots went on to win 6 Super Bowls. He made the team. No one knows about him, but it's the story of Joe Panos, lifelong guard, made some money. Probably you never heard of him. If you watch football in the 90s, you'd be like, oh, I've seen him. He's on the Buffalo. Made the Patriots team, retired. And the Patriots went on to win 6 Super Bowls.
I don't think he
Bad
would have
timing.
been. I don't think he would have been there for the sixth one.
Bad timing. No.
Highly doubt it. So Dallas is likely to franchise tag Dak Prescott. Is that a wise move, though? What do you think?
So you have to pay him what? The top.
I believe it's going to be 35.
You have to pay him the top 5 is? 35.
If I recall correctly, the number is like 34.5.
I mean, no, but what? Because you signed Elliott in that stupid contract, yes. If Elliott wasn't signed to that asinine contract, then no.
I mean, they still have the money to sign him long term.
Sure.
So should they sign him long term or should they franchise tag him
I would sign him long term.
at $40 million per year because that's what he wants?
Good Lord. Hey, that's his money. I mean, we've already talked that quarterbacks don't grow on trees. You got somebody that's above average.
So if Joe Flacco came to you right now wanting $40 million,
He's not above average.
so if Cam Newton
I
came
guess
to you right now,
That's just such a sick number. I guess you have to. I would sign him.
I would take my best stab at the dark in the next draft class than pay him $40 million.
I don't know. You can.
I like Dak Prescott, but he is not $40 million.
You don't have to guarantee all of it.
In this day and age, you're probably going to have to, especially at quarterback.
I don't know. It's just how many crappy quarterbacks are there? Every year was like, well, see what we have in this year's. See what we have in. I mean, Kyler Murray was the next coming of Jesus Christ. What do
Yeah,
we
he's
get
still
from him?
playing all right, though.
Yeah.
He's just got nothing around him besides Larry Fitzgerald now.
Well, he's 400 years old.
402.
Okay, great. You need. I don't know. I think if you got a quarterback, you got to pay him. They should have never signed Elliott to that. That's the thing that screwed everything up. Should have never signed Elliott to that.
Well, we already know Jerry Jones has no idea what he's doing.
Should have franchised Elliott. Pay him a year at a time, because in 2 years he'll be junk.
True.
Pay him $30 million this year.
But it's very
$50 million
unlikely that he would have signed the franchise tender. And I believe running back would be at 12. So even that's a high number. They put the franchise tag high so that you don't use it.
Right, but I mean, they'll let him sit, and then see what happened to CJ2K, when he sat out. Never the same.
Chris Johnson.
Way back.
I was going to say, how old do you think I am?
2,000-yard season. Didn't like his contract. Didn't play. Finally, they traded him for somebody else, and he was crap. Because running backs don't last long.
One of those teams was the Titans. I think it
The
was,
team he was good for.
yeah. I don't remember where he went after.
I don't even
Maybe the
remember who he went
Jets?
after.
He sounds like he went to the Jets.
'Cause they had a lot of CJs.
Yeah.
But he was crap. Elliott is no different. The average shelf life for a running back is like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Not every running back is Frank Gore. Frank Gore seems to be immortal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He just hit 15,000 yards this season. Actually, he did it against the Patriots.
Yeah, Frank Gore spent some time on my fantasy teams over the years.
So, you think that they shouldn't franchise tag Prescott, but they almost have to?
So we're going with reality here. So
Reality is
They're
they're
already
going to.
they're already signed. They already signed the running back for
And the wide
crazy
receiver.
money, and the wide receiver. So I think he's going to franchise him, but I would just pay him.
I would also just pay him, but not at 40. If he comes down to 35, which I believe, as of right now, would still make him the highest paid
I'd
quarterback in
front-load
the
it.
league.
I'd give him a 6-year deal, front load it. Option after 3.
Wow, we're going to MLB right now.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's no options in football.
But I mean, the guaranteed money dies after 3.
No, I agree. Front load the hell out of it. And then
Get your money's
after
worth.
3,
and then-
ditch him if you can, if you need to. Otherwise, make him play out the last 3 years. Or he'll hold out for another contract. He's a quarterback.
It's such a cluster.
Yeah.
Dallas. Can't get out of his own way.
The crazy offseason is going to be coming up rather quickly. And there is a lot of quarterbacks. Now, whether it's obvious they'll re-sign or not, as of right now, they are scheduled as free agents.
Right.
This list includes Tom Brady,
Mm-hmm.
Phillip Rivers, Matthew Stafford, Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, Ryan Tannehill, Cam Newton. I believe there's the option on that deal, though. There's something about his deal where he can end up staying for another year, which he's not going to. But he is also there. It's 7 top 20 quarterbacks.
So you're saying the Patriots could sign Stafford or Cam Newton?
Yes. Literally, yes. Cam Newton going to go to Buffalo. Phillip Rivers, if anything, Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady swap. Otherwise, they both stay. Oh, Drew Brees is on that list.
I think Rivers is retiring.
I believe him and his 12 kids. Yeah, I
think he
believe
wants
so too.
14 more kids. We've already proven that he's potent, and he likes the children's. He's got himself a starting soccer team, a starting football team.
Yeah, he's got it all.
He's got a basketball team with all these subs. He's got it all. Yeah, it just sounds like he's going to hang it up.
Memorial High School, who are you facing this week? The Rivers.
The Rivers is his.
Yeah, I also think that, which opens the door for the possibility of Tom Brady going home to L.A. in their first year in that stadium, blah, 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 blah. Let's just make a storyline out of it.
Does he go play for his buddy Matt Patricia over in
That ain't going to
Detroit?
happen. If
Or-
anything, it would be Tennessee. If he was going to go play, quote-unquote, for a buddy, it's going to be Vrabel in Tennessee. I don't see him leaving New England. I think Rivers, Brady, Breeze, and Rodgers are all retiring at the end of the year.
Really?
Rodgers not because his contract's up, obviously. But I think all of them go out together, along with Eli. So all 5 of them, we get 5 of the biggest quarterback names in the past 10 years, upwards of 15 years, all gone at the same time.
Wow.
Which really opens the door for the next generation of quarterback.
Which is scarily. There's a few. who
There's
are
the
really
Patrick
good.
Mahomes.
But when there's probably less than 10.
There's probably less than 5 of that I would. Like, you take those 5 out and give me 5 for the future. So those 5 don't exist. Give me 5 for the future. No Joe Flacco's, no Russell Wilson's at 35 or 32. You are Patrick Mahomes. Maybe Carson Wentz. But he's been so up and down.
Yeah, you can't get gauge on him.
Mitchell Trubisky's trash.
Yep.
Josh Darnold is trash.
Sam
Josh
Darnold.
Allen is trash.
Yep. Your boy Lamar Jackson.
He's going to take that one big hit. Or, sorry, I got called out. He might take it in the pocket. Regardless, he's going to stop running one way or another. Doesn't matter how he gets hit.
You tend to not get up from getting hit when you're running in one direction and someone's running in the opposite direction and hits you and weighs 200 pounds more. That's when you really don't get up.
This college offense does not translate into the NFL because in the NFL, these guys are older, wiser, faster, stronger, and they deck you. And that does not end well. The quarterback always goes down.
Yeah.
I think you're liking that camera just as much as I am.
I do like the J Cam.
It's a nice touch.
It should be like in a weird place so you have to actually make it dramatic. Turn to like
ends up behind us just.
Over the top and just look up.
Well, we got that one up there.
We do. That's
Is that one actually on?
it's scary.
Concern.
It's nothing he can't see.
Yeah, I think it's like pointed right here.
To my notes.
Yeah, like right there.
Yeah.
So.
It's the J can. He lays on the table. Just puts his arm behind his head. You know, folks.
Draw me like one. Yep. Back on subject. Where'd we go? Biggest surprise of the season so far. That's where we're at.
For me.
Hey, yeah, we have a call-in number. I completely forgot about
that's
that.
right.
603-424-0432. If you want to talk about anything we've talked about so far or we'll talk about later, feel free to call in. There we go. We got that out of the way.
Now,
That number again?
603-424-0432.
call early, call often. First 10 callers gets a Jake Jollymore
I'm scared.
commemorative mug.
I was going to say, I'm scared of where this is going.
And you had a big discussion under your Rudolph Garrett fight, so it would have been good to save that discussion for the call-in. So if anybody had a discussion on that thread on Facebook and wanted to get on and talk about it to
Which conversation? We've had quite a few today.
So my biggest surprise was Indy thriving after Andrew Luck retiring, not falling apart, and how well Brissett has been playing and making himself an above average quarterback. You're never going to hear his name in the, with the Mahomeses and stuff, people like that, the young kids like that. But a steady, don't make a mistake, above average quarterback, he's getting the job done. That's when they said Andrew Luck was retiring, for me, I was like, well, not to worry about Indy. Still don't really have to worry about Indy, but they didn't fall apart.
Jacoby Brissett's the exact passer that if Lamar Jackson was, I'd have faith in him.
Now, when he was with the Patriots, the year that Tom Brady was suspended 4 games, and he had to play because Garoppolo holds the ball too long. Still does.
Yep.
Every single preseason game, after every single play, Brissett was on the bench with Brady, with the Surface tab, going over every play. And that said, wow. To me, I said, well, they're probably going to lose Garoppolo. That was the talk. I said, I don't mind if this is the year Brady quits. I don't mind Brissett taking over from this point on. He looked like somebody who was at least willing to put in the work. Of course, we didn't know any of his athletic ability, good or bad, back then because he only played 1 game and broke his thumb. But I never thought he would be horrible, but he's turned into an above-average quarterback, and a franchise that was going to sink kept it afloat.
Take me back 10 years. Would Brissett still be an above-average quarterback?
10 years. He'd have a job.
Oh, he'd definitely have a job, but would he be an above-average quarterback?
He'd probably be average.
So he's only above average because of how bad quarterbacks are this year.
Yeah, relatively speaking, he's above average.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, he's no. You can win Super Bowl with a guy like this. That's been proven. Hostetler, people like that.
Grossman didn't win it, but who did he face?
Who else won Super Bowls that are crappy? Tampa Bay.
Joe Flacco.
Tampa Bay won with Gruden with
Was that
some clown. Some
Mark
buffo, as they say in
Johnson?
Greek.
No. Man, they've been through too many quarterbacks.
Gannon? Was it Gannon?
Rich
I don't know.
Gannon was Oakland.
He also played at Tampa Bay with Gruden, but I don't know if that's the year they won it. But that's my biggest surprise this year. What's
Man,
yours?
I don't know how that popped in my head, but I'm just all of a sudden thinking about Carson Palmer. Man, that dude was loaded with raw potential.
This is the year you're surprised that he's all but gone.
Oh, yeah, no. My biggest surprise is the fact that the NFL actually handed down a season-long suspension, but not the one that they just handed down. The Burford suspension.
Right.
In week 5, they handed down a season-long suspension. They finally actually dropped the hammer.
On someone who absolutely deserved it.
Absolutely. We took 2 different approaches with this one.
Yeah. You were more like a NFL as a company type thing, and I was like more on the playing field.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
fine,
Yeah.
though.
Okay. Just different thoughts. That's why
Yeah.
you have different people on shows.
Exactly.
Thought patterns.
It's definitely weird to see the NFL actually getting harsh with their suspensions and their fines and
Or doing the right thing.
yeah,
perhaps.
I wouldn't go that far. I would not go that far.
In this case,
In this
suspending
specific
it,
case, yeah,
it
this
was
is
nice to see them do the right thing.
we have 2 in a row where they've done the right thing.
Yeah.
We'll see about the next off the field issue that they have to handle.
I guess you pretty much have to murder someone on a football field for them to get it through their heads that we got to do something.
Yeah.
You know?
And it almost happened twice this year.
You know, toss your girlfriend around in the elevator.
For those of you that don't know, that's a Ray Rice thing. What do we got? What's next? Oh, we're into the next 3. Cool. Outside looking in.
Outside looking in.
We've got boom, boom, boom next.
I actually have. Last week I was giving props to my boy Gruden, and it's still on the outside looking in. But after I put my biggest surprises Indy, I had them as outside looking in. Even though Pittsburgh has the tiebreaker because of conference record, not necessarily division wins. And so
Baltimore has that division though.
right, but I mean
So
tie-breaking also can go down to division wins
oh, you're talking about for the wild card
for the
itself.
wild card. So it's
Okay, yeah, the second
It's-
wild card right now would be Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh
Yep.
is 5-4, it's Indy 5-4, and it's Oakland 5-4, and Titans are 5-5.
So many mediocre teams.
Yeah. So I have Indy on the outside looking in.
I've been consistent so far since we started this segment. 100% Jacksonville. And with Nick Foles coming back, I'm guaranteed they're going to start winning again. Because Nick Foles is one of the above-average quarterbacks that has been missing this year.
I won a fantasy quarterback. I won a fantasy league with Nick Foles, so can't disagree
That's
with you.
concerning.
Well, I always pick my quarterback as probably the last talent. I always go receiver, running back, quarterback. I always end up with like the top 2 out of the top 5 receivers and a really good running back. And then by the time quarterbacks are being picked, I'm getting like I won with Cousins. I've won with Foles. Yeah, back to back with 2 crappy quarterbacks.
I'm in a keeper league, and man, you know how much I love how in-depth this thing is? Like, I have a full defense. I have Myles Garrett.
No, you don't. Not anymore. You
I'm
don't.
going to have to put him on the injured reserve for the rest of the year. But I love the keeper league. I've been thinking about starting one.
Yeah, it's not a game changer one.
I've literally going into this year. That's what we were talking about, and we just never did it.
I haven't played in 3 or 4 years because I was doing FanDuel and DraftKings, but kind of got over that too. So I haven't done anything.
Yeah. Who do you got in the NFC?
I got Philly. I had them last week. I don't know. I just think NFC seems to be a better league, but once you get down to the 6th, 7th team, they're all kind of the same. So Philly has they've been there last year. They've been there before, so I have Philly.
I had Minnesota when we first started this segment. Segue into Chicago because Minnesota's currently in. And now I've given up on Chicago.
Uh-oh.
I also have Philly. So, nice and easy. Keeping it simple. So we're going to move on to QB or not to QB.
QB or not QB? I don't think there's any pictures for this one. I didn't put any
Perhaps
pictures
not.
for this one. There's
All
just
right.
too many.
I like the bottom five first, so we're going to start with the bottom five.
All right. You want me to go first?
Yep.
Probably not 32. Probably not the worst. But Sam Darnold. Damaged goods. Can't get out of his own way.
Adam Gase won't get out of his
Adam
way.
Gase is just killing this kid. I hate the Jets. So, Sam Darnold, congratulations. You are the worst quarterback in the NFL.
Mitch Trubisky's at 32 for me. God awful. Can't, like you just said about Darnold, he can't get out of his own way. He can't, his arm turns into a noodle when he's throwing the ball all of a sudden. And I don't know if I can blame Matt Nagy for that. Mitch Trubisky just does not have that raw talent he should as a quarterback to start in the NFL.
And I happened to have him at 30, and my notes was, ugh. So I agree with everything you said. It's just ugh. For someone that was supposed to be, if nothing else, an arm, a phenomenal arm.
An above average quarterback.
It is just.
The quarterback issue is that so many teams have not hit on quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You get the quarterbacks going the 6th, 7th rounds that we never know about. For all we know, one of them could hit. But we got all these first rounds and second rounds busting.
Yep.
All right, so you got a 31.
I had Rudolph.
Really?
Didn't really know too much about him. 4 interceptions last night.
Yep.
And proven to be just a little punk. So, congratulations. You're not the worst. You are the bridesmaid to the worst quarterback in the NFL, you gutless clown. Mason Rudolph.
At 31, I have Daniel Jones. Not good.
No.
He is just awful. And he started out on fire, started out doing great, and then the hype went just down the toilet along with this play.
Yeah, he was probably a couple notches up. I had Trubisky at 30. So 29, I had Fitzpatrick.
He's only played one game.
Yeah, he's played a couple games.
Is it a couple now?
He played Patriots, and he played. The end is near. The end is near for Fitzpatrick. For the Dolphins.
No, he's with Tennessee. He took over from Mariota.
Oh. I might have been looking at the wrong week. Anyway, I don't like him. How about that?
All right. That's good enough for me. I don't.
The magic of the beard is the end is near for this guy. If they're gonna put their playoff hopes on Fitzpatrick, then maybe he's not the best coach we thought he was, and maybe Brady is not going to go to the Titans if this is the quarterback they have chosen.
Hold that thought. Oh, it's Tannehill. God, I got Tannehill and Fitzpatrick mixed up.
Oh, so I was right.
So you were right. He's in Miami.
But I could have sworn when you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, blue uniform. So anyway,
Yeah, they're
Fitzpatrick.
both Miami guys.
Let's go back.
What was
Go
that?
back 30 seconds. You taking pictures of it?
Yeah.
Excellent. For the Facebook page. For the kids.
Oh,
It's for the children.
it's for the children. That's all that matters.
Fitzpatrick, he sucks.
Yes.
The end is near. The magic in the beard, gone. Okay? He's terrible.
So, at my 30, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Awful.
He's just sneaked out of my 5.
At
And I wanted to keep him in.
At 29, whichever Allen is not in Carolina.
I actually have Kyle Allen as my 28th.
Ah, see, I have him at like 25.
Yeah. I just think that, I mean, they're winning, but he's not making anybody forget about Cam Newton.
No.
It's just not.
Except apparently Ron Rivera.
Yeah. Just not very impressed with him.
And at 28, I have Kyler Murray.
Wow.
Yep. He's just not impressing me. he's got that raw potential that Trubisky's missing.
Yeah.
But he's just not doing anything with it right now.
If you ever, I mean, you're obviously too young, but there was a reason why Doug Flutie couldn't play in the NFL. He was probably one of the best athletes on the field, but there is something to be said for a short quarterback. I mean,
especially in this day and age where people
Flutie
are just
in
taller.
his prime, Kyler Murray is not going to outrun him that much, not going to outthrow him that much. Flutie was a phenomenal athlete, and it was just his size and stature and the fact that he was a scab when they had the – because he went and played in Canada, and then he came back as a scab and played for – might even been the Patriots. I know he ended up with the Patriots, but he was hella talented, but just too short. Just couldn't. There's things that you can't accomplish when you can't see the field, like a quarterback needs to see the field.
There's certain things that somebody your age should not say, and hella is one of them.
Hella.
You just said he's hella talented.
Well, I watched my share of the South Park.
Oh,
Wasn't there an
love it.
episode where that's all Cartman said was hella?
We've talked about this. I don't watch South Park.
It's been a while. It's one of those things where
I barely have time to
you
watch
watched
football.
it 5 years ago. You haven't watched it in 7 years, and then you can come back and watch it again because it's still going. It's one of those things.
And it's probably the exact same thing as it was.
Pretty much, I guess. I haven't seen it in a long time.
You've got to
No.
see it.
You still watching it?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I don't watch South Park at all, so I'm out on this conversation. All right, power rankings.
I don't know. Top quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah,
No,
wow.
we forgot to
Yep,
do that last
okay.
week.
I mean, I feel like there's going to be realistically 4 that we have the same and 1 that we don't, but not in the same order maybe.
I don't think you have Rodgers in your top 5.
Oh, I do. He
do?
would be 5 for me.
Yeah, it's 5 for me. Still
Let's
have
be
a
real.
102.7 rating still, even after all the ups and downs. So, and he's still Aaron Rodgers, so he's number 5.
Let's be real. You have Lamar Jackson in your top 5, and I ain't about that.
That's true.
I got Stafford at 4 instead. I don't know who you have at 4, but Lamar is not in my top 5.
I have Lamar at 2.
You have Lamar at 2.
Just for body of work. I mean, until he gets his head knocked off, then it's all over. It's over.
When he has over 300 passing yards in a game, I'll take him serious.
But he himself is playing well. He's running the offense. The team has crazy amount of faith in him, and he's moving the ball,
Yeah, he's the best running back the league's seen in years.
and he's winning games. And that's what you're
That's the
asking for.
important part.
So until he gets his head knocked off, which I am with you, is going to happen. That's where I have him. So for 4, I had Watson.
Yep.
He's just steady. You know, he's been keeping it going, and he hasn't had his full receiver squad healthy yet. I think this might be the first week where they're going to be all of them are going to be healthy at the same time. So
I'd
that's
put
what I have him at 4.
at 3, which is where we're at now.
Mhm.
I'd put Mahomes.
Me too.
Yeah.
He looked good.
Yeah, I mean, the team around him is falling apart, but he's not coming back from injury.
Yep.
So can't really blame him for what the team's doing.
They don't drop that stupid field goal. They won that game.
Yep.
So
At
Yeah.
2, you already said you have
I-
Lamar.
really didn't think I would just insert Mahomes right back into the top 3. Didn't
No.
think that would happen at all.
Did not either, especially with the dislocated kneecap.
Right. Yeah. So I had Lamar Jackson. I mean, they're winning. He's playing great. His team is all the faith in him, which is really a big thing. Because sometimes you don't have the whole team on the same page. He's running the offense he's given. You know, of course, he's still 1 hit away from getting his head knocked
It's
off.
only a matter of
But
time.
until that happens, he's
When does
playing.
Vontae Burfict return from suspension?
That would be interesting.
That would be great.
And obviously, we have the same number 1.
Yeah, it's going to be Wilson. Oh, my number 2 is Watson, by the way. Skipped that by accident.
Yeah, so there we go. Pretty much same top four, except you will not. put
I
Lamar
will
Jackson.
not believe in Lamar Jackson until I see either 300 pass yards in a game, for crying out
Just
loud.
one game? Or
Just one. Just
A
give me
couple.
one game of 300. That's it.
So you're
One.
saying?
I am saying he cannot get one game.
So you're saying?
I am
if Lamar
absolutely saying.
Jackson throws 300 yards, he will be in your top 5.
Yes.
Excellent.
One time. That's all it takes.
Love it.
Whew.
There we go.
All right. Power rankings for the week.
All right, which I do not have. I was
Yeah, I don't
working
have
off
that
of yours.
up either.
So you don't even have like a your
No,
little
my
list?
image isn't even made. My panel, only 2 guys voted, so I want at least 5 votes.
Okay. Yeah, you couldn't get. 5 votes.
I got 2, and then yeah.
A lot of stuff happened last week. 'Cause
Yeah.
This was going to be an
Yep.
interesting poll. I probably should have put more thought into it, but I thought I had more time. I ran out of time.
At this
A
point,
lot
I
of
don't think
stuff
Patriots are number 1.
No,
No matter
there's
what, Patriots
there's
are
a
not
lot
number
of-
1.
There's a lot of teams that lost.
Yep.
Patriots are number. I don't think I had them number 1 last week. Anyway, the Ravens played well, so they didn't go down. Packers lost.
Yep. San Fran at not number 1 easily,
They lost.
but they came back and barely lost.
Yeah.
They came back, pushed it into overtime, had a chance to win it, but kicker screwed them.
Right. But I still think the Seahawks are better. At this
I have
point.
Seattle a very close second in my head right now. Patriots at 3.
I would almost have them until I see what they do against Philly. I would have to put the Ravens ahead of them right now.
Ravens?
Ahead of them right now until I see what they do in Philly.
I don't believe in the Ravens.
I know.
I would put the Saints before the Ravens, and that would be my top 5 rounded out right there.
Pat says at 4 and Saints is 5, or Pat's at 3. Would you have?
Pats at 3,
Pat's
Saints at
3,
4,
Saints at 4.
and Ravens at 5.
Ravens at 5.
Minnesota at 6.
Wow.
They're 7-2.
I know, and they're outside looking in.
They're the wild card because oh my God, I forgot about Green Bay.
Yeah, but it's not out of the realm of personality that it's not out of the realm of whatever that they're not in the top 5.
No.
So
And
they're
Minnesota
right
and
there.
Green Bay are right there with each other.
Right.
So I'd have them both next in my power rankings. Easily. Just a matter of who goes where.
It could be Saints, Packers, Vikings are all the second best team.
Yeah.
In
They're all
NFC.
viable contenders at this stage.
And San Francisco. So San Francisco is going to have to play one of the two. And San Francisco or Seahawks are going to have to play 2 of the 3 in the playoffs, probably, to get to the Super Bowl.
I don't like San Francisco's odds.
They have probably going to get a bye because they still have the best record.
Yep.
If not, they have the tiebreaker.
They only have one.
Even if they have the second best record, so they will host a game, and you could see them one and done.
San Francisco?
Yeah.
Yes.
Have a bye. Have
Yep.
somebody come to them.
Yep.
Could be
Okay, nobody's afraid of going to San Francisco,
no,
first of all.
but somebody come to them like could be Saints, could be.
I
The
think all
Vikings.
three of the teams we just named, Saints, Packers, Vikings, all can take out San Francisco in the playoffs.
I can see that.
Now you want to tell me they win that game, then they get taken out by Seattle.
Yeah, I think Seattle's pretty much on a mission this year.
Yeah. I also think the surprise candidate is Minnesota this year. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're a legit threat, and Adam Thielen is not even on the field.
Yeah.
Kirk
True.
Cousins started out rough, but he turned it around quick.
He can throw.
Oh, he has a cannon for an arm.
I mean, like I said, I won with him playing for the stupid Redskins. And he was throwing to Crowder and Deshaun, maybe even Deshaun Jackson the first time he left Philly.
Oh, yeah.
He was playing for them at the
I
time.
forgot he went to Washington.
So that's our top 6.
Yep.
Then we have.
Well, that would push it to 7 for me.
So we could probably stick in there.
Buffalo. They're in a
Houston?
downward trend. Oh, Houston before Buffalo,
Houston
definitely.
Before Buffalo.
They're only 6-3. They're not doing awful. Josh Allen is just an awful quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, if he's your fantasy quarterback, you start him every week because he runs in a touchdown or 2, but he can't throw.
Yeah, I'm relying on him this week. Aaron Rodgers has the bye.
Yeah.
Not happy.
So we got the Buffalo, but Houston, then Buffalo.
And at 10, we would have.
We can't put any more AFC teams in there. That'd be crazy.
Above Buffalo.
Dallas.
Dallas.
In the top 10?
I have a feeling we're forgetting somebody.
Of course we are. How
No.
about,
No, we got all the good teams. So yeah, it's all the 5 and 4 teams
How
now.
about- how about KC?
Damn.
How about KC? You forgot them.
Yeah, I didn't forget them. Oh man, that defense fell apart quick.
Yeah. So they're out
They-
of your top 10?
They look like they're not salvageable anymore. Patty Mahomes can only do so much.
Yeah. But they have 3 losses?
4.
They have 4 losses.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, they're pretty toast. They lead that division, but they're pretty toast at this point. Their defense is unsalvageable.
So the Raiders could actually win
Yes.
that division. They're 5
As
and
it
4.
stands right now, I believe it's
5 and
only
4.
yeah. Yeah, 6 and 4, 5 and 4.
Wow.
Yeah. The Raiders have a
Imagine
chance to take that division over Kansas City, which would be wild.
Because they're so bad. Raiders will be.
So yeah, I didn't forget about them. No. No, I ignored them. However, at 5 and 4, every damn team in the league, man.
Yeah.
And none of them are like a good 5 and 4.
Indy.
Yeah, it's the
doesn't
only
scare ya.
the only one that makes sense. I mean, you have Tennessee at 5 and 5. They're not a legit team. Pittsburgh's 5 and 5. They're not a legit team, working on a 7th quarterback. Oakland, I can't take them serious. Philly, maybe. So Philly or Indy at 10. Chicago's 4 and 5. Carolina's not serious. They can't figure out a quarterback situation. And then the Rams have Jared Goff. And we've talked about that on this show before. I can't take Jared Goff serious.
You can't take the Rams serious at this point. It's like the Patriots drew up the blueprint and everybody's
Yep.
figured them out. And it's just another one of those teams that ends up playing the Patriots in the Super Bowl. They're supposed to beat them, and it's the next franchise. We saw it with the Seahawks. We saw it with
Seahawks imploded.
We saw it with the Falcons. We saw it with Philly. You know, we
Falcons
saw it
didn't
with-
implode. They basically still have
Rams.
the same team.
It's just these teams.
They're just not good
They
anymore.
don't have the staying power.
No. Nope, they don't. But it's not even just a Patriots thing. It's the Super Bowl loser type thing. The Patriots have been the only anomaly to that. You lose the Super Bowl, you tend to fall apart.
Unless you're the 80s Buffalo Bills. You don't win the Super Bowl ever, but you go there 4 times.
Hey, I wasn't even born yet. All right, that's all I got for tonight. What about you?
That's it.
That's it.
I think I held my own. I did my homework. I managed to have them know some of these guys' their names, and I didn't mention Steve Grogan once.
I'm proud of you. Fucking Steve Grogan.
He was good till he broke his neck.
He was aight.
For what we had around here. Yeah.
You're good to cut it whenever.
Oh.
You don't want it? Oh, you want us to just keep talking?
I'll play with the live button. You tell us that we'll see you next week. Who's going to be here next week?
It's either going to be me and a guest host or me and Rob again.
All right. So I'll be here. if you don't have anybody. I'll
Yeah.
either be over there or I'll be
Over
over here.
here. We'll find out.
Peace.